Hello and welcome back. This is episode 2, Friendly Takeovers. In the first episode, we covered getting the criteria for your biggest and baddest buyers, 3 simple ways to get more. In this episode, we're going to talk about connecting the dots and getting paid. This is where things get really interesting. This simple change, this tiny change, can change everything. So hopefully you've gone through the first episode. If not, I recommend going through it, and only when you're absolutely certain that none of this will work in your area, then and only then should you move forward. And remember, after this episode, we have 2 more coming as part of this series, all for free, just for you, because you're my people, or as Tupac would say, my friends. So this is the base of how you can start getting ownership in companies or buy them outright without getting loans, without hiring employees, without presenting a business plan to a banker who's never started or ran a business. Are you serious? None of that. You can use your skill as leverage. It's leverage. And we're going to hold off on the crazy and wild examples. We're going to go over real watered down and real conservative examples. And these are things you can put in place right now. So let's get started. These are examples of pulling money out of thin air. We had a contractor from Pennsylvania, Lloyd Roaming, and he did some basic research and found that his best clients were people who were knocked up, pregnant and expecting. They would want the biggest jobs, like a new addition to their house or something like that, and these were his best paying jobs. So instead of running ads in his paper, doing direct mail like flyers, postcards, letters to everybody like he'd been doing for years, he focused his entire budget on pregnant or expecting households in his best neighborhoods and areas. And to do this, he got a list of the subscribers to pregnancy magazines in his target areas. And that's all he did, just this one change. Didn't spend any more or less money, just targeted who he was contacting based on his biggest and baddest buyers. From making this one change and nothing else, he went from having 3 part-time employees and real spotty work, and in less than 90 days, he had over 7 full-time employees and 3 part-time employees. And he more than doubled his net income. The number of transactions he had actually decreased, but the size of the transactions more than made up for it. That's just one example, and we'll cover how to get those lists, where they are, and how to get them. And you can even get those lists for free, so there's no excuse to not do this. We'll get to that later, but for right now, let's keep moving. Here's an example of how to do this without paying anything up front. CJ and Marion Wolf, a young couple, they worked with their church, and here's what he did. He had a band that would play at church functions, weddings, picnics, get-togethers, that sort of thing, and they sold CDs of their music to raise money for their church. They never sold more than a few hundred max. And usually, in order for them to sell that many, it took years. But when he applied the badass buyer mentality, I don't think he called it that, they did some research to target people who bought Christian music CDs. They eventually got in touch with a gentleman who had a list of over 20,000 people who bought church music CDs, or stuff like that at least. CJ went to the person in charge of this list of over 20,000 people, and he ran some basic dialogue, something else we teach and train folks how to do, and they worked out an agreement. The owner would help CJ offer a CD to a sample group of 1,000 people on his list, and depending on how well it did, they would roll that offer out to more people, and if the numbers kept working, if the numbers kept converting, they would eventually go to the entire list of 20,000 people. The owner didn't charge CJ for the list. Instead, they worked it out so they would split the profits made, and the church helped in the promotion because they were going to get a cut of whatever CJ made as well. So his out-of-pocket cost was 0. Nothing. He spent nothing. This cost him nothing to get in place. So, how'd it go? Well, by targeting the right people, CJ found that many of these buyers bought multiple CDs. So just from gaining compliance from this one gatekeeper and with no out-of-pocket costs, they sold over 5,000 CDs. And remember, they never sold more than a few hundred. In other words, they sold more CDs in a matter of months than they had sold in decades. I will repeat that. They sold more CDs in a matter of months than they had in decades. Think about that for a second. When somebody tells you that you can't grow your company as fast as you want, or you can't make as much money as you want, or anytime somebody tries to put their limits on you, they're forgetting, or maybe they don't know, that no matter what your situation is, you're just one relationship, one person away from making more money in the next few months, weeks, or even days than you've made in the last few decades. This is how you engineer those quantum jumps in your income and that light speed growth that we talk about all the time. It's not impossible. We have people doing it all the time. All right, moving on. Let's say you don't have a CD or a product. You don't have leverage with your church like CJ did. My first suggestion would be to go through some of our stuff, get better at leverage and positioning, business badassery in general. But let's say you want a challenge. In that case, here's an example of how to start a company and have clients and income before you even open doors. This example is from Claude Swanek from California, you know, where nothing works. And his passion was photography. That's what he loved. That's what he wanted to do. But he was like completely clueless about it. He had no contacts, no influence, no idea what he was doing. So here's what he did. He did some basic research and got in touch with a few photography companies, and he asked them some basic questions to find out who their biggest and baddest clients were. It turns out their biggest and baddest clients were corporate accounts, like seminars, conferences. Not only were these high-paying jobs, but at these jobs, there were networking opportunities and referral business. So one job could turn into 5 into 10 or even more. A photographer could go to a job like this and line up more business right then and there, right at the function. They could get enough business to keep them busy for weeks or even months. So these were the ideal targets for the two companies that Claude was in touch with. So after hearing this, Claude arranged for a payment every time he sent a corporate client to one of these companies. Not only would he get paid up front, but he would also get paid based on the business they generated at the seminar, the conference, or whatever function the client wanted. Also, the photographers would take Claude along and they would train him. So Claude helped these photographers find clients and he'd send them over. In exchange, he would get paid and trained. Not surprisingly, his compliance was 100% with these companies. It's a pretty easy sale if you think about it, because these photographers are basically getting business handed to him. So Claude made a few calls to the exact types of corporate groups that his photographers told him about. You're following this, right? He's using the criteria they gave him. It's that simple. And that's all he did. And he did it in his spare time. He'd just make a few phone calls, make some contacts with a few corporate accounts, and then he connected them with his photographers. That's all he did. So that's what he did every week. He made a few phone calls, sent out a few emails, and connected corporate clients with his photographers. He got paid for every client that he sent over and for all the business they generated while they were doing that job. And he did this for a few months, and he didn't get rich, but he was making a few $100 to a few $1,000s a month. And this went on for months, and during this time, not only is he making money, but he was shadowing the photographers, so he was getting better and better at taking pictures or whatever. And after a few months, he had gotten better trained, he knew what he was doing, he had the contact, so he finally decided to open his own business. And the very first month that he opened his business, because he had his contacts, because he knew what he was doing, his first month, his net income was over $30,000. And we just went over everything he did. That's all he did. But because he had the contacts, because he built his skill, he hit the ground running, doing 30 grand a month. No websites, no business cards, no fancy degrees, no Twitter. How does that even work? I don't know. None of that. He didn't need any of that. Neither do you. This was all he did. How many companies get started and ever in the lifetime of the owner or the company will ever net the owner $30,000 a month? Almost none. How many companies get started and hit 30 grand a month in the first year? Even less. How many companies hit 30 grand a month in the first 30 days? Are you serious? I love that example because it's a great way to finance your education. Anything you want to learn how to do, you can get paid to learn how to do. I love learning new stuff. I'm sure you do as well. And it's even better when you can finance your education. When you get good at this, you can get trained by the best people in the world and make money while doing it. How cool is that? You're welcome. Here's another example of this. Dave Nucci started doing this in Colorado and Florida, and now he does it pretty much everywhere. He wanted to learn more about private money lending and real estate. By the way, if you're not up to speed on this, private money, there's a lot of money to be made in private money. We do a whole training series where we show people how to go from zero and basically start your own bank, start netting 10 to 30 grand a month in the first 30 days, creating your own, basically your own like mini bank. But I digress. That's not what this is about. Here's what Dave did. He wanted to learn more about private money, so he contacted local real estate investment groups, and with one group, he found their best clients or private lenders came from seminars, Kiwanis, and certain types of real estate investor associations. So he started scheduling appointments for real estate groups, and he scheduled them with Kiwanis and other types of real estate investor associations. You're getting this, right? He's basically taking the exact criteria they told him, and he's using that to help them find more. And just by focusing on the best groups, he helped his target company raise more money in 2 weeks than they had in 6 months. Now his cut in the 2 weeks was over $5,000. That's over $5,000 in 2 weeks. And he had no overhead expense. Not only that, but he didn't invest or risk a penny. How many private lenders do over 5 grand in their first 2 weeks without risking a penny? Now after seeing how simple this was, this is all he does. He doesn't do real estate, he doesn't invest, he doesn't loan his money out, not involved at all in private lending. He doesn't even go to the seminars that he helps put on. He just schedules them for real estate groups. You get how simple that is? These real estate groups are always looking to raise money. And if they're smart, they're looking to raise private money. So if you help schedule a seminar where they can go and make their presentation, you can get a cut of all the money they raise. And we have students and clients that charge up front. They charge real estate groups up front just to show up at the seminar. And on top of that, they get a cut of all the money they raise. And if $5,000 in 2 weeks sounds like a lot to you, one of the first jobs I had in the financial industry, I worked for people who did the same thing that we just talked about, only on a larger scale. They basically helped people get in front of people with money. And they made a lot more than $5,000. I've personally seen people make over 100 times that, doing the exact same thing we talked about. When you can help people who want money get in front of people with money, it is a very lucrative skill set. Do the math, 100 times that. $5,000 times 100. That's a lot more than $5,000. WeBuildEmpires.com. By now, you should be getting a sense of the power these simple but often overlooked concepts have. It's killer, and here's the example that I promised I'd share with you. This is how to target multiple gatekeepers. One gatekeeper is great. Multiple gatekeepers is just badass. This is Darren Moylan's example in Virginia. He was working with the gym, and he didn't own or invest a penny in it. Instead, he worked with them and helped them find out who their badass buyers were. Turns out the best people not only paid the standard gym membership, but they also paid for personal training, a nutritionist, prepared meal services, and other ancillary services. This was their cash cow, and after doing just a little research, they realized that one of the main things these buyers had in common was they were planning on getting married. Now already they're ahead of just about every gym in America, right? Because how many of them have these kinds of metrics about their business? So to take action on this information, Darren helped them put together a campaign. They targeted and partnered with wedding planners, DJs, bridal fair hosts, churches, other wedding venues, basically multiple wedding gatekeepers. The response was nuts, and they kept widening the radius to a point where people were coming in from over 50 miles away. In fact, the model did so well that this gym went from one so-so gym to opening 2 new thriving locations, and this was their main catalyst. And as you can imagine, Darren's cut was well over 10 grand, and he had ownership in the business. Stephanie and Millie have been doing this for a while. For those of you that saw that episode, they're on our team. One of the gym owners has a very well-known franchise, and he says in the testimonial, "I will not even think about opening a gym without first giving Stephanie 20 to 30% ownership in that gym." They didn't work with wedding planners, but it's the same concept, finding their biggest and baddest buyers and helping them get more. It's that simple. All right, that's it for episode 2. Stay tuned for episode 3, Spy Sources. That's coming. Check your email. And in that episode, we're going to go over how to get all this information. Privacy is dead, so you can pretty much get anything you want on anybody you want all day long. All the information you want on your biggest and baddest buyers, you can get that information all day as long as you know where to look. So that's next time. Check your email. You don't want to miss it because you'll get even better at pulling money out of thin air. Okay, that's it for now. You want to check out WeBuildEmpires.com.